Welcome to The Cause Effect, with your host, Carl Kozlowski, and his team of correspondents, bringing you the world's bad news badly. And now, Carl Kozlowski.
Thank you very much, or as Carl would say if he were here, hello, Earthlings. Carl Kozlowski is on assignment in Little Rock this week. I'm Dr. David Robinson, sitting in the captain's chair for another exciting episode of The Cause Effect. Joining us, this is, I don't know what happens. Carl leaves Palooza. And
I know.
I'm not complaining about it.
Let's just mount our agenda here.
Let's do it.
Let's swing wide.
Agenda mounting. As you're hearing in the background, we have wonderful panelists with us today. As always, the black voice of reason coming from the left, Mr. Tymon. Shipp.
Power to the people. Let the sisters have their hair the way they want.
Boy,
that everybody can't wear an afro. I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't have mine anymore.
Well, so this might be professional jealousy, professional courtesy. I don't know.
Hey, most brothers that had afros back in the 70s, their ass is bald today.
That's what happens.
Yeah.
And also joining us from the left, giving us the female perspective, writer, playwright, author, performance artist. She does it all. I feel like I'm going to break into like a perfume commercial because she's a woman.
Whatever.
But we are very happy to have Erika Schickel with us.
Well, hello. Happy to be representing the ladies. It's Ladies' Week at the Olympics, I think, and I'm feeling really good about it. And
right on. And we will be talking about it momentarily. But first, we open up as always. And I already introduced myself, but Dr. David Robinson here. Open up with a look back at the week we were. So, looking at week, Ecuador is working on picking a date for Swedish prosecutors to question WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange. Presumably Assange and the prosecutors will be given time to find their own dates. No, you did that.
I feel like I need to laugh after every one of your jokes.
I would
David.
appreciate it.
Or at least make a little vocalization of some kind to support you.
Thank you.
Okay, continue.
I mean, I hope it's not just obligatory. I hope there's feeling in there as well.
As a woman, it is my role to support you.
I knew it was coming.
Oh, hooray.
Go, baby, go.
Vladimir Putin has removed... I'm just going to have that running through my head the whole time. Vladimir Putin has removed Kremlin Chief of Staff Sergei Ivanov from office. Putin says he just feels Ivanov could better serve Russian interests by replacing Donald Trump campaign manager Paul Manafort. India's Iram Sharmila has ended a 16-year hunger strike, and publishers have reportedly approached her with six-figure offers to release a new line of diet books.
I'd like to hear you repeat her name one more time for us.
That would be Iram Sharmila.
Very nice, very nice.
Thank you. I hope I'm getting it right.
It sounded a little like Iram Sharmila.
Tom Brokaw. The United States said this week that more military transparency is needed in the South China Sea. So in an effort to achieve that transparency, the U.S. Navy revealed their new fleet of glass-bottom boats. Closer to home, a group of pastors is suing the state of Illinois over a law that bans gay conversion therapy for minors. If they win, the pastors say they'll then sue the state to make insurance plans cover bloodletting and tests for witchcraft. I can't take all the credit for this, but it seems like since I left Illinois, the place has been going to hell.
You know what? But maybe you should go back. Although we need you here, so
well, I'll commute, I suppose.
Okay.
Someone give me a winning lottery ticket so we can make that happen. All right. The DEA said this week that marijuana will remain illegal under federal law, leading a number of Californians to ask, "Wait, it's illegal?"
I don't know what you're talking about.
That's one of my favorite mic tricks that I learned in college radio. Sip of coffee. Oh, that's the stuff. It's like Carl's gone.
It's
the lunatics are running the
It's hell in
asylum.
a handbasket here.
New reports say that the 10-year-old boy who died on the Verrückt water slide at Kansas City's Schlitterbahn Water Park earlier this week was decapitated. While the park has reopened, the water slide is still closed, so you'll just have to try another ride if you're hoping to get head at the park.
Oh, my God, David, I'm sorry.
I'll go there. That's what I do. A Virginia man at a tower in New York this week using suction cups in an effort to symbolize how Trump himself climbed to the top of the Republican establishment by sucking really hard. A Subway employee in Utah was arrested this week after he allegedly spiked a drink with THC and crystal meth. Now, I'm not going to defend this kid, but I think it's total bullshit that a cop gets free drugs at Subway without even asking, but I get attitude whenever I request extra tomatoes. Not cool, Subway. Not cool. A release this week shows that firefighting chemicals can be found in a number of sources of American drinking water. So if you need me, I'll be drinking a bunch of tap water while operating a leaky microwave oven in hopes of turning into a superhero named Fireman. That's how it's done, right? The radioactivity and the bad chemicals. I think that's how superheroes are made. Speaking of fires, after burning over 8,000 acres in the San Bernardino Mountains, the pilot fire is 90% contained, but experts worry that it's up for a full season order. Right now, just a pilot fire. A new study says that cardinals may be shielding Atlanta residents from West Nile virus, but if their record of shielding kids from predatory priests is any indication, Atlanta residents should probably stock up on bug spray. That's actually one of those interesting little nature stories. Cardinals, the birds, not the Vatican representatives, football or baseball team, are immune to West Nile virus, but they love to eat mosquitoes. So,
would that not be true for most birds, though? I mean, birds are not vulnerable to the same disease as humans are.
Well, not all of them, but there are some that, like bird flu, that are transferable.
Well, all right.
Salmonella.
You guys, that sounds good.
That's super.
I'd like to know what's going on in the world around.
Very scientific.
We're smart.
Yes, you're so smart.
That was a good one.
A new survey revealed that 1 in 8 American adults smoke marijuana. While only 13% of adults admitted to smoking pot, another 26% rather of the adults giggled, while 5% surveyed asked, wait, what was the question again? The FDA enacted new rules this week to prevent teenagers from buying cigars and e-cigarettes. Teens responded to the new laws, saying, wait, all this time we could have been buying cigars? On the campaign trail, Hillary Clinton released her tax returns. This one just needs to follow them into the wilderness and see if they lead us to Donald Trump's tax returns. It's the secret tax return graveyard. The Washington Post reported this week that Donald Trump has a sensible excuse for why he said President Obama is the founder of ISIS. Surprisingly, that excuse wasn't because he's an idiot. That one would have made sense to me. Donald Trump hinted that Second Amendment people could stop Hillary Clinton from appointing rational Supreme Court justices, meaning Donald Trump may have finally figured out the only way he could possibly become president in November. After Trump did advocate the assassination of Hillary Clinton, oh yes he did, a former Secret Service official says he believes Donald Trump is close to the edge. The Secret Service official then added that he is pretty sure that bandmates Bono, Larry, and Adam, on the other hand, can't stand Trump. The Edge, however, don't know about that guy. New polls indicate that Donald Trump is currently in 4th place among black voters. Hillary Clinton, Libertarian Gary Johnson, and child murderer George Zimmerman.
Oh, and also David Duke is up in the polls over
Is
Trump.
it?
Yeah.
Over Trump?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's polling better than Trump is right now.
Louisiana. But with black voters or just in general?
With black voters.
Okay.
There you go.
Well,
Yes.
Tymon, we're going to have to ask you about that
Yes.
a little bit later once we get into the meat of the matter. But
That's shocking.
what's up with that? George Prescott Bush, son of former presidential candidate Jeb Bush, this week urged Republicans to back Donald Trump. This came as a huge relief to former President George W. Bush, who is no longer seen as the family idiot. It's just one of many.
More where that came from.
Boy, how and you got to figure, for as long as George W. Bush was president, his brother Neil had to be going, keep going.
Yeah.
I'm the good boy, good one. Yeesh. Republican Party leaders warned Donald Trump this week that if he doesn't right his ship, he risks losing the Senate. In response, Trump pulled out his stationery, begrudgingly set pen to paper, and began writing, "Dear Mr. Ship."
Get the letter?
I don't know if he finished it. All up in your business news, Ariana Huffington announced this week that she'll be stepping down as editor-in-chief of the Huffington Post so she can focus on her new health and wellness startup, Thrive Global. Huffington explained that as much as she enjoyed not paying contributors to a news aggregator site, she realized she could make much more money by not paying contributors to a health and wellness site.
I was hoping you were going to go there.
Yeah, someone has to.
Yeah.
90s throwback soda Crystal Pepsi is back on store shelves as of this week. Reps from PepsiCo said, "Man, after the toxic waste dumps turned us down, we never thought we'd be able to get rid of this." Wait, you're not recording this, are you? Those sneaky PepsiCo reps. Wall Street was pulled back from record highs this week by an oil slide, but considering what happened to that kid on the water slide in Kansas, an oil slide really doesn't sound so bad. Turning to science, the New York Times report officials in New York who are busy fighting the Zika virus are turning their focus to sex, and you really can't blame them. I mean, you got to do something to pass the time when you're waiting for those Zika test results to come in. So good for the scientists. New research indicates embryos, rather than fresh, may boost the odds of pregnancy for some women, and since they're located on your grocer's shelves between the Hot Pockets and the DiGiorno pizzas, they're also more convenient.
Watch out for GMOs.
Hot fetus.
Yeah.
Astronomers this week suggested that the planet Venus, known for its extreme temperatures and toxic atmosphere, may have been habitable for billions of years. I, for one, am looking forward to hearing Donald Trump's explanation of how and why President Obama made habitable. Because you know he had something to do with it. A new study released this week revealed that some sharks who are alive today were born before George Washington.
Wow.
Yeah, and according to Bill O'Reilly, the shark slaves were well fed and had provided by the sharks.
That's a good one, Dave.
In the world of sports, the Anaheim Angels of Los Angeles have restarted talks to stay in Angel Stadium, leading many to wonder why they need to stay there. You figure with what Major League Baseball players are getting paid these days, they should be able to afford their own apartments.
Really?
No, it's I guess they're in talks to move to Tustin.
Really?
They were, but that proposal was too expensive, and as a good friend of mine, and why did I just blank on his name? God, I'm going to have to look this up and give him credit
Don't
later.
worry, you're not on the spot.
Not at all. But he did mention on Facebook, he's like, so if they were to move to Tustin, would they then be the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim via Tustin?
Tustin, yes.
I figure just, get a cough syrup to sponsor the team. They
Robitussin.
Chlorine in Olympic swimming pools this week turned swimmer Ryan Lochte's peroxide bleached hair green. And already, just by virtue of that, he's a better Joker than Jared Leto. I'll complain about that movie later on during. Former NFL quarterback Tim Tebow announced this week that he's preparing to pursue a career as a professional baseball player. And say what you will, but I support Tebow in his endeavor to fail at as many professional sports as he possibly can. Jamaican track star Usain Bolt announced that the 2016 Summer Olympics in Rio will be his last. And it's sad to see him retire, but you got to admit, he had a good run. One or two. Looking at entertainment, Thomas Gibson was fired from his job on the hit CBS show Criminal Minds.
Yes, he was.
After he allegedly kicked a writer who also happened to be a executive producer on the show.
Yep.
So
Whoops.
Don't do that. Gibson will allegedly be replaced by a MC Q-Tip, who's been known to ask permission before kicking things. Can I kick it?
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Sorry,
I can.
I didn't get it.
Actress Roma Downey got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, which is appropriate because people on the walk complain about getting touched by a guy who's dressed as an angel. And finally, a dolphin at Orlando, Florida's SeaWorld reached out of its tank and stole an iPad from a tourist who was trying to take its picture, which just goes to prove the old saying, give a dolphin a man and he'll eat for a day. Teach a dolphin a man, however, and it'll be a total fucking dickhead. I'm Dr. David Robinson, and that was The Week We Were, where we don't make the news, we just make it memorable. So, wrapping that up, we continue with, as always, a burst of Durst from, I believe, 5-time Emmy-nominated comedian Will Durst. Not able to join us this week from the